So we are now recording the January 5th, 2018 Small Business Accounting Advisors. Hello, everyone.
Hello from Southern California.
Where it's warm.
So how cold is it back in Philadelphia, Gina?
18 degrees was the high today.
Ugh. What's the wind chill?
3.
Ugh.
Ouch.
Are you not getting the blizzard conditions, are you?
That was yesterday. Yesterday was blizzard conditions, but we didn't get snow like Larry did. Larry got all the snow. He hogged it up.
Ugh.
Actually, they got it worse on the east end of Long Island.
Oh, okay.
But still, we got enough. We got enough.
Yikes.
It's 16 degrees now, but the feel they say is -8. So,
Ugh.
you know.
When you start getting those feels minus numbers, it doesn't matter whether it's 1, 8, or 30. It's all the same. Freezing cold, and you don't want to be outside.
Right.
Yeah.
The old battery got its workout starting up the car.
Yeah, mine did that. I've been starting it up every day just to make sure.
Yeah.
So when I do want to go out and get in it and go places, it's not going to say click, 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 click.
Yeah. I know.
And my poor little doggy, Rocky, his little feet are getting frozen.
Ugh.
Oh.
He hates wearing a jacket, but at this temperature, he has no choice. I can't even imagine trying to put booties on him.
Oh, I was gonna say, I know I've seen people with the little dogs that have the little
Booty things?
the little socks or whatever, you know.
Yeah, no, he wouldn't live with that. So I take him out, and it's only for like 2 minutes at a stretch.
Yeah.
And then bring him right back in. Because a couple times, I've taken him out, and he's taken like 4 or 5 steps, and all of a sudden he starts prancing around. He doesn't want to put his feet down. It's so cold.
Oh wow.
Ugh.
So I think we're going to go to PetSmart this weekend, and we'll walk around the store a little bit.
Yeah.
He needs to walk.
Yeah, that sounds good.
How old is he?
He's like 5. He's not really that old.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. I think he wants to turn into a bear. He's been trying to hibernate. Hey, Miss Sarah.
hi, Sarah.
So we're talking snow.
She even got snowed down there, I think.
I know.
No boots.
Oh my God.
Oh.
I pulled them out of the closet, and my husband said, "Are you sure they're not rotten?" 1989, I bought the.
Wow.
I actually went out and drove today. It was pretty weird.
And how are the roads your way?
Well, the sun said, if there's a tree or shadow, it's still a little dicey, but it'll be all right. They canceled the concerts and stuff tonight. We were going to go to because when the sun goes down, the bridges start freezing up, and we're all on these chain of islands, and there's just one bridge after another, and people were getting trapped in between bridges, like driving along, and all of a sudden the bridge and then they turn around and go back, and the other bridge is closed.
Oh, then they're stuck. Yeah.
It's
So we're going to lose you coming up. You're going to be doing your Friday nights with the folk singers.
Yeah.
Isn't that what your event said? Friday nights?
No. Once a month, first Friday for folk music has a concert. That's what they just canceled.
Oh, okay.
I haven't sung at a first Friday since, I'm thinking that might have been 2013. Because I was a little chunky, and I wasn't chunky anymore.
Well, I saw your video of California Dreaming.
Yeah. So it's just a group of friends, and we get together, and we have a group called Patchwork. We sing together all the time, and they begged us to come back, and we hadn't sung together like that. So it's pretty amateur.
Yeah, but you guys are not bad for being pretty amateur.
We can get some wicked harmonies and some of that stuff.
And you're having a good time, and that's all that really counts. It looks like you guys have an awesome time.
Yeah, I just propped up my iPad so the video is pretty yucky, but yep. I've got an hour. The one I might post, because some of them, you know, it's like I don't want everybody to hear them. But Neil Young's what's the name of the song?
You want to say hi to my people in my group?
Sure.
What's the name of that Neil Young song about?
This is my daughter back there.
Hello, we hear about you
hi.
and your
That's-
car deals.
That's Rochelle. She's going back to school on Sunday.
Got it. Is she
Nice.
the Toastmaster?
Pardon me.
Was she the Toastmaster?
She's been in a youth Toastmaster group, and she's gone to some of my Toastmaster meetings when she's home. But
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Very good.
So,
Okay.
everybody survived the snowmageddon because it went up north and got worse.
Larry said it hit the other side of Long Island from where he's at.
It's
Yeah,
right
we
on
got
top of
about,
me.
I don't know, 4 to 6, but out there, I think they got closer to 8 to 12.
Wow. Wow.
Okay.
They're
So
There's still about 4 inches of snow. The rest of
Wow.
I seen your little snowman.
my little snowman.
I did too. That was cute.
Well,
I
people,
love the sunglasses.
yeah,
Wonderful thinking.
the
It was very clever. Was it California snowman?
yeah, I was like, it's a QuickBooks Connect snowman. But it's funny to watch Southerners in the snow. I mean, cops are pulling over and there are videos of them having snowball fights with neighborhood kids, and I mean, the bridge to Hilton Head is closed and people are snowboarding and sledding on the main bridge to Hilton Head. I mean, it's crazy.
Wow. Wow.
And so, you know, the Northerners are like, huh? And we're like, snowman! So people, their whole Facebook pages, like, well, the radio, the TV station, like, show us your snowman. It is hysterical. I mean, a lot of snowmen in bikinis. There's snow women in bikinis and flip-flops and a beer. I mean, other snow.
Right. That's very cool.
Anyway, so school's closed, you know, all this week, and then it'll be all right on Monday.
Yeah, that's the day that we're looking for recovery too, Monday.
And then they can stay away another 20 years. I moved down here to get away from that stuff.
It followed you.
So, and everybody's been, none of the power, our power didn't go out. Everybody's been able to, Angela's still here. Angela came in today. And, but everybody, a lot of people working from home. And if you need something to talk about later, I can tell you about my ERP work this morning. So all remote because they're snowed in up north too, and everybody's working. Support people working from home. It was great. I mean, we just never skipped a beat, really.
Oh, I love the virtual. I just had a virtual support experience with Qbox. So the client called me up with a problem. I called Qbox, conferenced them in. Qbox used Zoom in order to remote in. So I was able to I was able to log on to Zoom at the same time and watch support from Watch TS help my client out, which is totally awesome.
Is there
It is.
anything new or different that we would?
Something happened with her computer that totally kicked off Qbox. Totally removed it. He thinks that it might have been a virus scan program or, you know, something like that, that he called it, what did he say? A false positive. It came back as a false positive. Sounds like a pregnancy test, right?
Ugh.
But it came back as a false positive and killed the program. So we had to reinstall it. Fortunately, it didn't affect her files, and we had done a backup just in case. Because the first thing I said to her, file backup. Okay, now let's investigate. But we actually had to set up a whole new Q box and Q box files. So we had to rename the old ones old. So once we set up the new ones, we were able to transfer the files from the old to the new. And she was in it as if she hadn't even skipped a beat.
Not
anything.
Their support is stellar.
Oh my gosh, it is. And I've been doing
anything with technology. No program's not gonna work.
Right, exactly. But the point was, I was able to third party.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I've done virtual sessions before, and you know, I've always been the one sitting in front of the computer.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this time, you know, I'm 15 miles away, talking to her and him on the phone and watching what's happening on Zoom.
Mm.
And he's in San Jose, California.
And he's in California, right?
Well, this one this morning was cool because I have a client. I'm a nonprofit accountant. I mean, inventory, warehouses, okay. Now, you know, I went to school. I know my debits and credits. So, I mean, I can figure it out if I need to. But I have a client with a plumbing supply warehouse that I've had since the early 80s. And it went from a manual system to a DOS system. Anyway, the DOS was like, anyway, 2006, I got a phone call that said, we bought a new system and it's in Windows, Windows thing. And they're asking me all these questions for setup and I don't know how to answer it. And I'm like, you're calling me now? Anyway, so I jumped in the car and ran over there, and here are these guys. They had been here from way up north somewhere, Connecticut, and had been here for days installing this massive point of sale, AR, AP, inventory, warehousing, ERP software.
Wow.
You're asking her all these questions about financial statements and formatting, and she's just doing dough in the headlights because I do that, not her.
Right.
So I ran over there to find out what they were doing, and she pulled me aside and said, wait a minute, I'm not getting rid of QuickBooks. And I'm like, well, I said, well, how does their payroll work? You know, how does their bank rec program work? Had none of that. How does their, so she's like, well, I have to have my checkbook. I'm not going to use that checkbook. This is, DOS and foreign and, So long story longer, I devised a system where I would read the general ledger and create a monthly journal entry. And that system is only product accounts payable, AR, inventory, okay, completely standalone. And then in QuickBooks, for years and years and years, they would just key in all the checks. Like if they did a big check run for 30 checks, they would do the date, the check number, and a DDI fake vendor number and the amount. Now we export it to a comma delimited file, and it's right in the checkbook. And then the deposits, when they make deposits, they're going to a clearing account. Okay, and so this system. And then 2014, they actually got on a real Windows program. So the thing is, and this is what I want to get across, whether it's QuickBooks, ERP, or anything else, your system is only as good as the setup.
That's right.
Exactly right.
I had the client in between me and the software.
Yep.
I've never had a value inventory report match the books. Never. 2006, never. And I had these inventory adjustments that would be like, $100,000 this way. I'm just like, now for me, I'm like audit trail, and the tax accountant's like, just fudge it at the end of the year and go on. And so we've been doing this for years, and I sort of copped an attitude about, they're not serious about getting to the bottom of this, how this software runs, and why should I be killing myself because I've spent so much time?
Yeah.
I should have been more aggressive. And when they got a new staff member, I was able to, I got my own login to that software, and I started, you know me, I play around till I figure it out. And I was taking transactions, let's see, in November. Well, I got into the settings because I won't get into all the details, but there's so many cost fields. There's like FIFO, which according to the tax accountant, they were FIFO. Then there's average weighted cost, which they were supposed to be on and weren't. Then there's all these cost codes that some industries use to key off of to get new retails. Like if you've got copper or something that's going up and down and up and down, this is really boring stuff. Up and down, and you want your profit margin or your markup to be a certain amount. You want to, they'll get in there and play with those cost figures. I don't care. That's at the counter. You know, I just want to make sure that my inventory cost for tax purposes is correct. Well, apparently it had been set up wrong over ago. And when I got in there in November, I got into the settings where there's no help because it says you have to call, and they're $200 an hour.
Right.
So I'm thinking, what? This should be FIFO. And I thought, let's just wait a month to see what happens. So then November posts, and I'm like, oh, I really messed this up. And then December came with the holidays and company, and they're in and out and everything. And I wish I had just said, let's just pay the money and go with a high-level support person and give me a couple hours to show me how this system thinks and look at the setup. So I reached out to them right before Christmas. The first they could talk to me was today, which is very fit. The year's closed, you know.
Right, right.
So she emailed me last night and she said, I've been going through all your questions, and she answered a bunch of, and she said, just as preliminary. And she said, can I call you at 9? I said, okay. I'm never in here at 9. Plus, we're closed for all the snow and everything. So I said, call me on my cell phone. I'm going to be home because this is a snow day. So we talked on the phone for about an hour in theory. Then we got on my workstation, and I team viewered into one of their workstations, and she team viewered into mine. And then we went through the settings, and then she was able to take the entire database. She fixed all the settings, re-indexed it back to January 1.
Oh.
Then of course, this took 3 hours, this whole thing.
Got it.
And so right before that's why I was late. I've been reprinting general ledgers for 12 months.
I was going to say that changes all your financials every month.
So I've got my spreadsheets per month, and it's probably going to be a very long night because I'm going to have this done by Monday for you. And so then I'm going to take the new general ledger. I mean, total sales tax, none of those numbers will change. It's all these inventory all of a sudden the inventory adjustments went away.
Nice.
You know, all those, you know, so I'm really psyched. I hate that I have to redo 12 journal entries, but QuickBooks is forgiving. You know, I'm going to pop in, edit my journal entries. It's in a Q box.
There you go.
So 2006, I've been wanting to do this. I'm in such
Wow. So their program is totally not synced with QuickBooks, or it is? Because that's what I had the same thing with inventory. Like QuickBooks QBO inventory just did not work for them. They weren't doing everything properly. It just wasn't working. So I made them get a new inventory program that supposedly synced with QuickBooks.
Oh, really?
Well, with the new inventory program, they weren't doing all the pieces. And again, it was the same AR with items and AP, just for those particular items. So I told them, unsync it. We're just not going to sync it with QuickBooks, and we will just do a journal entry at the end of the month, every month.
I've got all my templates designed. You do it every month. You pull up a report, and you just total, flip over, do a journal entry. Why fight this stuff sometimes?
Honestly, that's where I'm at with it. I'm not going to fight anymore.
Now, ADP, payroll's on ADP. So there's another, and then the ADP run reports go right into HubDoc.
So actually, Linda has a question about HubDoc. You're a HubDoc user. We were talking to Tiffany Stewart earlier. She was here. She wanted to say hi and Happy New Year to everyone, but she left again.
Oh, probably because I was talking.
So I don't know. She comes in next week. I'm going to stop everything, and we're all going to say hi to Tiffany.
Yes, we'll do that. Okay. Yeah, the thing is that one of my clients, it has the hardest time syncing they have all, they with Comerica Bank, and Comerica has you got your password, you got your username, you got your password, you've got 3 or 4 secret questions. And I'm thinking maybe what you want to do is have the same answer, the exact same answer for all your secret questions. I don't know. I'm thinking I'm going to have to sign up and get my free one. Why hers isn't working. So somebody's typing in chat.
I'm sorry. I clicked on the link that Larry left, and
Okay.
Yeah, that's me.
and it came on. And I couldn't turn it off. Sorry.
I was
Go ahead.
reading that the browsers may become more vulnerable to this Spectre meltdown
Right.
virus thing.
I clicked on it and it started playing music.
What? Oh, this is something new.
The new,
What's Spectre?
I guess you'd call it virus.
Is that the one that's part of the
problem with Intel?
infrastructure in every computer, cell
Yeah.
phone,
Yeah.
everything?
Yeah.
That's the new vulnerability that they found?
Yeah, it's part of the kernel. I mean, the chips that are in the computer.
Oh, yes. They're talking about replacing the chips even.
Right. So I read this article that said your browser may be even more vulnerable than the operating system.
I can believe it.
I looked in there, and there's a temporary workaround. It's like in beta for Chrome. I know we all use Chrome a lot, so
I do.
I did their little thing.
Now I'm doing that little Fox guy. What's the
Mozilla or
Firefox.
But anyway, I typed it in. It's not too hard. I did the one for Chrome, and I'm just now using the browser, so I don't know. It seems to be working.
Good.
That's good.
I'm afraid of it breaking because honestly, that 1 in a million thing always seems to happen to me.
Well, how come you don't win the lottery?
I'm hoping. I'm trying, Linda.
I guess that is the Powerball thing all around the United States. Is that the one that's all over the place?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Is it Powerball or is it the mega whatever?
I think they spread both of them pretty far and wide.
Okay.
Yeah,
Certain states can
Real high.
Yeah, we've got it up here. At least the Powerball.
Mm-hmm.
like 350.
They say you have a better chance of getting hit by lightning than.
That's okay. I've
Yeah.
had better chances of getting hit by lightning happen.
We used to get little ones in our Christmas cards. My mother-in-law used to give us.
Oh, the scratch ones?
Yeah, they're fun. They're fun. So I'm sorry, we interrupted you, Linda.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
Right, we were talking about the hub doc, and what do you do about all those magic words or secret words, and you go try to arrange a sign-in that doesn't have those, it's just read-only? I'm wondering.
I don't know. Do you have an option?
With your hub doc not being able to get statements from the bank.
So you're asking, would a bank have a login that doesn't have the two-factor and all that stuff?
That's what I'm wondering, yeah.
Well, you know what? I don't know of any bank that does that, but my question is, if you have a reputable software company like HubDoc,
Yes.
we're into it, okay? And the client gives proper authorization, why can't they have a direct link that bypasses all that stuff?
Yeah, that's
It's permanent, and it's just a permanent link, not, you know, not a user link. It's a special link.
Right. Just for that, to sync the
Right.
feed.
You know, but the software companies, they're using the user's login information.
They are. They are. So
That's just, they've got to be losing their shirt. The support on this stuff must be awful.
yeah, well, I'm going to submit a ticket. Tiffany suggested submit a ticket.
Yeah.
And that's what I've got to do, because we have too many accounts that are just not syncing, and it's like a lot of time is being spent trying to get them to now they're not connected to QuickBooks. We just want HubDoc to be able to go get the statement.
Right.
And they are connected, and then they get disconnected, and you have to reconnect them constantly?
Yeah.
It's as they add more banks and they grow, you're hearing more and more of the disconnects. Yeah.
Right.
It's great when it works.
Yeah, yeah. Technology is wonderful when it works, but when it doesn't, boy, pull your hair out. So we were also talking, Linda put up a, in the group, a post to register for Accountex for free.
I'm on the board and I didn't know that.
You didn't get that email?
No, I got the email, but I got it when you guys got it. I mean,
Well,
the Facebook post, I didn't get an email.
Didn't they offer for people last year to pay ahead of time?
they told us they were going to offer it for $99,
Right.
but they never did.
Right. And then I forgot about it.
Okay.
Right, I forgot about it.
They said everybody, and they said, as a matter of fact, what they said at the time, this was a verbal announcement by the president guy. He said, we're going to let everybody in for $99 right up to the deadline. He said, all year long, you can sign up for this for $99. All I can think is they must have gotten a sponsor. You don't let people into a conference for free.
Well, not if there's CPE. Now if there's CPE, and I mean, it still said they were going to have snacks and stuff like that, but there's no way they could feed us every day.
Well, it depends on how much they charge the vendors.
Maybe it's becoming more of a real expensive for the vendors on the trade show. We all just and that they're going to bring in as many bodies as possible. Yeah,
That could be, because they told me, because I talked to them, I said, your setup here is, I'll go back now. As a matter of fact,
we made a lot of mistakes. Having the trade show on a different floor was a bust.
yeah, everything's going to be down inside the trade show now. They're going to rebuild out the whole thing, they said. That's a very old convention center, so I guess they can go in and do that. So it wasn't bad. It just was the communication and the signs were not real good because it was so easy to get lost. It was like being, the book Who Moved My Cheese, and you're in the middle of a maze. You finally find the cheese and then they move it on you. And it's just, we're going from the hotel over to the convention center. If you got sidetracked into this mall that was there, it was like you couldn't get out of the mall.
Yeah, you were lost, yeah.
It was so funny. But we found an Airbnb, Megan and I, across the street from the main entrance to the convention center. And we thought we'd get that. It's like an apartment we can get for really reasonable, cheaper than the hotel. So we thought we'd get that, and then we could have friends come visit us at this apartment right across the street.
Maybe I'll do that because well, they haven't asked me to speak again, so I should shut up. I don't know. I just might be attending.
Well, you're on the board. Wouldn't you want to go?
Yeah. Oh, I'm going. Yeah, I'm definitely going.
So whether you speak or not, you're going to go. So
no, I'm saying they pay the hotel. They pay the hotel for a couple nights.
Okay, got it. Oh,
and,
got it.
Yeah, and so it's a block of rooms for all the speakers, and
Oh, so you get to.
But if we're going to pay for it, I may have to contact you and find out where you're staying.
But there's a lot of Airbnbs in, but there was one right across the street. You know, when you stood at the registration desk and you looked out the window, it was right across there. So
Nice. Doesn't get any closer than that.
we didn't go visit it, but we looked. It was down the street from Trader Joe's, and anyway.
Well, is the attendance increasing every year? Like, does it QB Connect and Scaling New Heights?
I don't think it increased this last year. Don't you think it was less this last year?
Which one? The scaling?
How
The
many,
account.
how many people went?
I don't remember the numbers now. It was smaller than
Yeah, in
the last leader.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then I thought it was, if I had to rate it, I'd say a B plus. You know, the
Well,
speakers
there were a lot of mistakes. There's more energy. Like Cubic Connect is real rah, rah, rah.
yeah.
Loud noise and keynotes and this was low key, just went to class, and the problem is you can't wake up. Yeah, so their keynotes were at the end of the conference, not the beginning. Those mistakes won't be made again. We need to be greeted. We need to be enthusiastic and then go into these sessions raring to go. And
we need to have the vendor expo the whole time. That the first day we were there was no vendor expo. They were just setting up. So it was like, what?
Well, is Doug Slater still pretty involved with account techs, or you just kind of attend? I think that's probably part of the problem, because I think that
it's gone. I mean, it's a completely different thing. I mean, they're an international. They do a really great job with conventions all over. They're all over the world.
Aha.
So they just need to get their flow as far as what kind of conference this needs to be, and it's different from the scaling and the QB Connects because it is more well-rounded for accountants and CFOs.
More than just Intuit.
It's completely vendor agnostic.
Yeah.
Right.
So it isn't run by Intuit.
Yeah.
Intuit's running QB Connect and scaling. So
right.
If you're not using Intuit, we're missing that market. And it's on the East Coast, which should grab East Coast people. So it'll build back up. It would
seem like account techs would appeal to a larger accounting firm type, as opposed to a 1 or 2 person bookkeeping.
Well, I think, like Sarah said, it depends on what you're using and what your QuickBooks and Intuit is the more popular program right now. So of course it would be bigger. But if you're including Intuit and Xero and Sage has its own movement, which can be pretty big too.
Yeah.
Well, I know Xero has their own conference too, but it seems like they haven't really done that much, or at least they're not really marketing it that heavily. Xero.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm just kind of wondering.
Well, the whole U.S. thing is doing some weird things.
What, Xero?
Yeah, I mean, they came in, and then woke up, poked the bear,
Yeah.
woke up into it, and then Intuit's beating them bad.
Well, I think that Intuit, the reports are better. And
Well, and the whole thing is, I don't think the banks here are as ready as they are elsewhere.
yeah.
That could be. That could be.
I don't think the banks in the U.S. are near as prepared to go digital as European or New Zealand or whatever. So.
Well, I know when I was in banking back in the 1970s and 80s, we used to have tons and tons of little small SNLs and mutual banks and savings and loans. And, you know, there wasn't a big national bank back then. You know, you had issue with state lines. And so you had all these little small banks that have kind of consolidated. But, yeah, there's never been until recently, there hadn't been that much in the way of national banks.
Right. And it's those smaller banks that are giving the apps problems, like what Linda's having with HubDoc.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say that it's probably the bank that you're using is the problem more than HubDoc.
Right, but they're really connected to this bank. They have.
Nope, I get it. I get the same thing.
All their credit cards are there. They have 3 different credit cards there. Close to their limit on all their credit cards.
The smaller banks will give you better rates all the way around, better interest rates on your savings accounts and that kind of thing, better rates on the loans that you're paying. So people are attached to their smaller banks, but sometimes getting it to work, you know, just really is a headache.
Well, yeah, they're not going to have the same amount of infrastructure as a larger bank.
And they're not putting all their eggs in a basket with QuickBooks.
Yeah.
It used to be QuickBooks was the one. Well, I still see a lot of Quicken, which I'm not sure really why.
Yeah.
Who owns Quicken now? I don't even know.
Yeah.
It's privately held. Okay.
Yeah.
But Quicken seems to be more accessible digitally than QuickBooks does, which I don't understand at all.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
So the other thing with account tax, Charlie Russell is retiring.
Yeah.
Carrie Kahn is taking his place.
Who?
I love Carrie.
Where did you see that? Where are you seeing all this stuff?
I just saw it. I'll have to find the ad and put it in.
Okay, hold on.
Google Carrie Kahn. Her business is BCB.
Oh, yeah.
And she's wearing the same T-shirt on her website that Gina has on right now. Gina.
I've got too many windows open. Hold on, people. I'm lost.
I know that feeling.
All right.
So Charlie's going to be really, really, really missed. I don't know.
Well, you know, Murph
really take his place.
Murph is there
Right
too.
there with him.
He's
I
there
know.
too. He's already going up to his cabin and doing that fishing, and you know, so
Yep, exactly.
he's keeping busy. But any moment he could say, you know, I'm done.
So when I was becoming an IRP, the choice was between Carrie and Brandon, and I really wanted to leave Carrie. I really did, but
were you with Carrie first and then moved to Brandon?
actually, I put an application in with both. I didn't realize that I did at the time.
Yeah.
And I had to apologize to Carrie. So
I don't know her very well. I need to.
she's a sweetheart.
Yeah. Oh, they changed their header picture. No wonder I don't know where I am.
Aha.
Wonder who that is. Oh, it's an Avalera person.
What are you looking at now?
I'm just looking at their Facebook page, but
Oh.
so did they do something on the forum? On the Accountex forum?
They're saying the blog that Charlie Russell usually did is
Yeah.
taken over by Carrie. Charlie
All right.
delayed his retirement until Carrie could take this over entirely.
Awesome. Okay. So I need to go to the Accountex website. It keeps going to Facebook. Get out of there.
I wish I would have saved it. And it was literally 15 minutes before I turned on the Zoom today.
I was buried in inventory. Blog. Okay. New year brings new opportunities.
Yep. The other thing I wanted to mention was we did a canopy demo
Yeah.
on in 2016, August of 2016. It was canopy.
Yeah.
They asked me to take that demo down. So
Why is that?
they just said that the program changed so much and the
Yeah. I can
screens
see that.
didn't look the same, and
Ah, okay.
they want, when people search for it, I guess apparently people were seeing our demo. We
Mhm.
actually had like 700 views on it.
Mhm.
So, I mean, it's not huge, but
Oh.
they told me, yeah. So after they told me this, after they went to YouTube and told YouTube to take it down for copyright infringement, which really could be a strike against my channel.
Mhm.
Yeah. And I don't know how they could say copyright infringement when it was one of their people.
No.
No. But I took it down anyway. I mean,
Yeah.
if they want it down, there's no problem with that. I have no problem with that whatsoever. And I understand. I do understand things change and programs improve, and they want to see the new screens that come out. So.
Well, you know what? They found it.
No, they did.
I wonder, unless they just knew that that you had done it with one of their staff. Is it searchable? I mean, that's actually encouraging that.
Yeah.
Well, I found it right away as soon as I did
found.
search for canopy. It came up. So, but I'm really, really talking about demos, thinking about Finograph Flight. Larry was on the,
Yeah, couldn't get away. What, oh, not flight.
Flight, yes. Canopy Flight. And you have to watch out, because when I did a search for it, flight details for airports came up.
Do you say canopy, or are you talking about Finograph?
Yeah,
Oh,
Yeah, it looks really interesting. Really looks all about cash flow. So I'd like to try it, but I wasn't real clear. 14. They said that we would have a discount and all that. $14 a month is very, very tryable, in my opinion.
For how many clients?
One client per subscription.
Yeah.
It's the client subscription. It's not yours, where you can put on.
But they have a partner program. I mean, that was why I was confused.
They didn't talk about that, did they?
No, they didn't. I saw
Used
that
to
on
be
my
free. Matter of fact, it used to be free because the banks were paying for it.
Well, Finograph,
the partner part of it is free, but then your client, either the client pays or you pay for the client.
Yeah, that's why I was saying about the demo company, because I think it's easier to do a group demonstration with the demo rather than using a individual's company, a trial version of the company.
And absolutely, who wants to put their financials up there to be demoed anyway?
Right. So I mean, if you wanted to do a group, like say a Join Me for some of your clients, or it's just nice to have a demo so it's consistent. You could have a consistent presentation.
Mm-hmm. But the whole flight is supposed to be how the cash flows. So, and it is true. That's an area that I really, really struggle with my clients. They just, if you're talking deposits and money coming in and checks being written or debits and money going out, they get that part. But it's the part that, they're paying for loans or they're buying assets. It's the balance sheet part that they really don't get so well.
Yeah, because it doesn't show up on the income statement if you're paying
Right.
down a
Exactly.
loan or part of a
How
loan.
comes the income statement says I only made $1,000 and I know I deposited more than that and didn't spend that much?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well,
Let's look at it. Let's see. Okay, the telephone bill counts? It's an expense. Oh, that's right. They charge me every month for that. It's auto pay.
Yeah, and the loan payments, the car payments, whatever loans they have,
Yeah, the loans don't count as expenses, but they're money that's paid.
Absolutely,
I told my
absolutely.
daughter, she has me do an income and expense account, okay, a report, which is like a profit and loss. But then what I do is I add in the payments that she makes on her credit card at the bottom, because that's money that goes out every month. Yeah.
Yep.
We have one that we do that with.
Yeah.
I have a really cool, what I did was I pretty much took a blank P&L,
Yeah.
started with the beginning checkbook, and it's a little tricky, but you put all the you put it in all the easy stuff first, and then there's some balance, and then you have like a subtotal which matches your P&L. No. Anyway, budget. It's budget versus it's the budgeted accounts, and then you have the non P&L items, and then you end up with the ending checkbook. Starts the beginning checkbook because that's all they understand. The checkbook.
Yeah, they seem to understand that.
They love it. They love it. But then what we do is we put in what we think the bills are going to be every month through the end of the year, and it tells them. And then we put in what they should deposit every month if they want to
meet those bills.
And so it gives them something to glance at.
Right.
To go, oh, we better bring in 10 grand or we're in trouble.
Yes.
Exactly.
And visually, I mean, it's on a, landscape.
Mm-hmm.
12 columns can be a lot, but we change the color. We change the color of the columns as they become actual. So
yeah,
that's actual,
nice.
And then the rest of the year is still estimated.
Yeah.
And, I'd love to be able to automate that. Oh, here's a group to ask. I'm working with my programmer. He's really good with QCube.
Oh,
is that still around?
Oh, yeah.
The guy just spent 2.5 years completely rewriting it. It is unreal. Chuck
Vijant.
No,
it's Chuck Vijant. He's the
Vijant.
Vigeant. Yeah. Unless he sold or somebody.
Maybe I can't pronounce it. How do you spell it?
Vigeant, I believe.
Vijant. With a V. V is in Victor.
Anyway, yeah.
He's the one that developed it. He might have sold to somebody, but I don't know if he's.
Well, I can Google it. But
because it works with desktop.
It reads the desktop file and makes a big database.
Yep.
And then they can go in and do all kinds of stuff. So I went ahead and bought it before the price went up. And I need something else to learn or play with. But anyway, I told him when we make our board reports, it's at least an hour. Because you export to Excel, you change net retained earnings to net assets. You change, and so the word revenue the word income has to be revenue. I mean, for nonprofits, there's all this cosmetic stuff that we have to do, and then I like to collapse certain areas but open other areas, and it's just, oh my gosh, it's just once I do the approval to close that the books are closed, just getting board reports out is just a boring nightmare. So what I'd love to do is say, okay, here's a sample set. These are pretty consistent client to client. How I would want these to look, and then see if we can come up with a system so that QQ reads the data and then spits out my
Automatically, right?
Yeah. And I don't know whether we have to go to Crystal Report Writers to do that, but doing pretty financials has always been an issue with QuickBooks. More of an issue now with QBO.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
God, Alpha? Give me a break. But yeah. Hi, honey.
Lunch or dinner is served.
No,
It's a flower.
Poinsettia.
Poinsettia.
To replace the one that you.
Oh, I froze to death because I left it out. The poinsettia is a.
And I'm
Mom.
it doesn't come back.
At the office. So.
Thank you. So anyway, that and I told him, January is my busiest month, half of February, and then I can get back playing with. The trick is not to get squirreled, because when I've got this new program that's sitting over here going, play with me. Play. I like boring W-2s, and I want to go play with my new program.
So how are you treating payroll now with the new payroll law? I mean, just going until they tell you differently?
Yeah.
Since they're getting rid of the exemptions?
You just follow it until they tell you. It'll be February before the IRS gets their act together.
Before the IRS decides what.
See, the news was saying, if you make under 50 grand, you have a bigger paycheck. And so clients are calling going,
Where's our bigger paycheck?
where's our bigger paychecks? And I'm like, quit listening to the media.
Yeah, don't listen to the politicians.
We're working on it.
Their paycheck will be larger
Yeah,
in February.
that's right. That's
If
it.
anybody wants their federal back, it is not happening.
Yeah.
Not happening. So, no, this year's pretty, I usually average about 600 W-2s and 600 1099s. But that's probably down a good 100 this year. So it's really going to be, I didn't have any new clients this year, so I don't have anything new. So we're going to test the software, test our processes by Monday. Karen will be back. We're just you just hit the ground running, knock them out. But, all the ones that are trying to do all the W-2s and 1099s, like on the 1st of January, let them find all the bugs. What is y'all's hurry? I'm serious. All these people are like, I gotta get my W-2s out. And I'm like, so too soon.
Coming up fast, though. The end of the month is coming up fast.
Yeah, and we used to have wiggle room with the 1099s. If somebody couldn't get you that stupid last straggler W-9, say you mailed it the first week of February, what are they gonna do? Find the 1099 police? But now
They don't have the staff.
yeah, exactly. I never, it was like big deal. I don't have to do it to the end of March. Well, now
Yeah.
we have to be 100% done January 31st. There is no more mailing it the first week of February. That's not
Because of the identity theft.
Yeah, and it's a good thing. It's just killing. It just kills, big firms who don't have any processes down. And I did it again. You know how QuickBooks, when you're going to through the W-2, and then you go to like I like to review it and everything. If you finish that process, it puts that W-2 up to the but it's different this year. You know how it'll send the W-2 to Intuit? And the default is it's checked. So my process has always been, we do all the returns, but nothing goes out the door until I review it. But if they hit, there's a question that says, do you want to email your employees, and your email will open up. That's what caught me, because I blew past it again. Because I don't know what employees are going to blow past that question, and poof, it's up to Intuit, and I haven't even reviewed it yet.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
But I think what's going to save us is that little email, because the email will pop up. But then you don't want to use our email. So for clients.
Right.
Some clients have requested that we do send it up to Intuit for people that use TurboTax and stuff, or View My Paycheck, or whatever.
Right.
Anyway. So,
Well, we are about out of time. Do we have anything we want to talk about that we didn't?
no, I think
No?
we'll just watch each other, see how harried we are.
Ready, set, go.
Right. I mean, start hitting the ground running on the 8th is really late, but
Hey,
we had Snowmageddon. Come on, we had to.
so did we. I mean, we have been shut down for 2 days now.
Now y'all had the winds.
We had the winds more than we had the snow. We didn't.
Yeah, you
have
had hurricane.
Now they have cold.
and cold and bone-numbing cold.
Hmm.
Yes.
Guys, can you imagine your roof getting blown off with gale force winds and then having snow?
Oh my gosh. So yeah, and that's what happened to us. I mean, even though it wasn't a lot of snow, every snowflake stuck, and then overnight froze into ice.
See, so it's not just us.
Mm-mm.
I mean, if these people say, I learned to drive in the north, I can drive in this stuff. It's like, do y'all have special magical powers that let you drive on ice?
Yeah, ice is the equalizer.
And
It doesn't matter whether you have four-wheel drive, all-wheel drive, no drive. You're going to slide on ice, period.
Well, Seattle has so many hills. I mean, every year, you have these idiots trying to go up the hill, and they come fishtailing back and bashing other cars. And
Same for Pennsylvania. You can fall off a mountain on Pennsylvania.
Yeah, he's remembering Maine.
Going into work, there's this one hill we had to climb, and I got to the top of the hill, and there was nobody behind me.
You made it. Now what?
I remember filling my trunk with cinder blocks.
I'm not doing that anymore. Yeah, no.
sand.
That's before front wheel drive.
Because sand, then you could take the sandbag out and dump sand under the
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, sandbags were better.
Yep.
I was on a bus one time and it snowed, and they had somebody up front with a bucket of sand, and every time it stopped, they'd get out and throw sand under the wheels so they could get going again. And one time I got caught on a hill downtown Seattle, and cars were driving on the sidewalk to get by us. So you had to watch out from getting hit by a car when you get out of the bus on the sidewalk.
Crazy.
There was somebody on the island that was raising how stupid it was to close school one more day. And They came back this morning and went, it's a little slippery out there. I see why they get on a school bus. Are you serious?
Well, for us, it's the poor kids. You know, older kids that are in high school, okay, but you're talking 5 and 6 year olds standing on the corner in 8 degrees. Oh, please.
I'd keep mine home.
No.
Yeah. That's just too brutal.
One of our friends has a little video. This is the Southern way to play in the snow. And she put her toddler in a laundry basket. And he just got on like 2 jackets, a pair of pants, and he's wearing his daddy's big work gloves. So it's a itty bitty thing. And he's got the gloves are as big as he is. And she's pulling around this basket, and he doesn't understand what's going on. He's like, "What are you doing?"
His is this fun?
Fun for mom.
All righty. Well, everyone stay safe.
Stay warm.
Stay warm. And we will see you same time, same place next week.
Bye.
Bye. Goodbye.